Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be making this beautiful blanket, and I asked everyone in my community tab exactly what they thought it should be named, and a lovely lady named Martha said that it looks a bit like the sunrise, and I thought that's absolutely beautiful, so I thought we'd stick with that theme and call it Dawn's Embrace. So that's what the name of the pattern will be on my Etsy. So we're going to need some double knit yarn for this one. I'm trying to use up my yarn stash here because when I first started to crochet I bought an absolutely shed ton of double knit yarn. So you're going to need any kind of double knit yarn that you can get your hands on. These are just the particular ones that I have and I thought it looked nice together. Of course, if you do want these particular brands, then I will link them all down below in the description box for you. So this is Wendy Supreme and I got this from Hobbycraft, and I also got the previous one from Hobbycraft too. We're also going to need a 4mm hook. Now you'll see me change this hook throughout the video because I'm not a big fan of these ones, but I had to try them. We're going to start off with a slip knot. So just like so, and twist and then pull through. If at any point in this video you think it's going a bit too fast, please do pause the video or you can slow it down in the settings tab. So you're going to chain up a multiple of 12, and I will pop on the screen exactly how many chains you need to make for each size blanket. I normally do 5 sizes of blanket. And so you just want to keep chaining up at 12 in multiples of 12 until you get to the size that you would like your blanket to be. Once you get to that, you're going to chain 1 for the turning chain, and then I'm going to work into the back loops of our chain, so not the normal way that people tend to work into their chains, but into the back loops. See the little back bumps here? So we're going to skip our first chain and go into the second, and we're going to put 1 single crochet into there. Just like so, and then we're going to work our way across, just putting 1 single crochet into each chain across, and this is our base row, so this will not be part of our repeat. Once we've completed that row of single crochets, we're then going to chain up 1, and we're going to turn our work towards us, just like that, and then we're going to put 1 single crochet into the first stitch, as the chain 1 does not count as a stitch, and we're going to chain up 3, 1, 2 and 3. We're then going to skip 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and we're going to work into the third with a single crochet. And we've created a nice little chain space. We're then going to skip 2 stitches and work into the third, and we're going to put 7 double crochets into the third stitch. And this will be making our little shell. And that's our little shell made with our 7 double crochets. We're then going to skip 2 stitches and work into the third with a single crochet. Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. And we're going to skip 2 stitches and work into the third with a single crochet. Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. And we're going to skip 2 stitches and work into the third with a single crochet, just like so. So we've got our shell and our 2 chain spaces, and then we're going to repeat that all the way across. So we skip 2 stitches, work into the third with our shell stitch, which is 7 double crochets, so that's 2, then 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Then we're going to skip 2 stitches and work into the third with a single crochet. Then we're going to repeat our chain spaces, so chain 3, skip 2 and 1 single crochet, and we're going to repeat that again, so chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then skip 2 and a single crochet. And then you're going to repeat that all the way across, so you'll do your shell stitch into the next, and then you'll work your chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet and shell. So keep repeating that all the way across and I'll meet you at the other end. Now we're at the other end, we're going to skip 1 stitch and we're going to have our chain 3 already done, and we're going to put 1 single crochet into that last stitch there. Once you've done that, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, then we're going to turn our work and we're going to put 1 single crochet into that chain 3 space. Then we're going to come across to the shell and we are going to skip the single crochet that we made, so you single crochet here, and we're going to go into the first double crochet there. We're going to put 1 double crochet into that, then we're going to chain 1 and then put 1 double crochet into the next double crochet. And we're going to repeat that all the way across that shell. So chain 1, double crochet into the next stitch, chain 1, double crochet into the next stitch, until you've completed that full shell. So chain 1 and then we've got 1 more double crochet to complete, and we're not going to chain 1 after this one. So there we go, that's our extended shell stitch. We're then going to come across to the chain spaces and we're going to skip the single crochet and go straight into the chain space with a single crochet. Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and we're going to single crochet into the next chain space. From there you're going to work your extended shell stitch like we did before, just here. So we're going to go straight into the next double crochet, skip the single crochet and go into the double crochet with a double crochet, chain 1, then work 1 double crochet into the next, chain 1, 1 double crochet into the next, and repeat that all the way across until you get to the last double crochet of this shell stitch. So on the last double crochet, we're not going to chain 1 after it, we're just going to pop a double crochet in, and then we're going to come across to the chain spaces and put a single crochet into the first chain space, chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then we're going to single crochet into the next chain space. Then you're just going to repeat that all the way across until you get to the other end, and I'll meet you there. Now we're at the other end, we've completed our row and we're just on to the last part, so we're going to put a single crochet into the last chain space. Then we're going to chain 1 and we're going to put a double crochet into the last stitch. Now if you want to, you can continue in this colour if you want your blanket to be all one colour, but I'm going to change every 2 rows. So now I'm going to grab my next colour and I'm going to choose the lighter green and just attach that by slip stitching it onto my work where I fastened off. You of course can attach your new yarn however you'd like to do it. So just going to go through that first stitch and I'm going to slip stitch that through, and then we are going to work our next row. So this is a 4-row repeat pattern. So I'm going to flip those tail ends over so that we can work over the top of those. So we're going to chain 3 from here, 1, 2 and 3. Then we're going to work into that chain space there with 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. From here we're then going to start working into our extended shell, and we're going to skip the single, skip a double, skip a space, skip a double, space, double into the next space, put a single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. Then we're going to skip a double crochet and a chain space and go into the top of the next, which will be your center, chain 3 again, 1, 2 and 3. There we go. And we're going to skip a space and a double crochet and go into the next chain space with a single crochet. Then we're going to skip straight over the next double crochets and chain spaces into the next chain 3 space into here, and we're going to work our 7 double crochet shell again. So it's a similar repeat to the first row that we did. The only difference for each of these rows is, of course, you have your 7 double crochet shell and your extended shell, and then the beginning of each of the 4 rows starts a little differently. Okay, so that's what you're going to be doing all the way across. We're going to be doing our 2 chain spaces and our shell, and we're going to skip the next single crochet and the next double and the next space and the next double and go into the next chain space with a single crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, then skip 1 double crochet, 1 chain space and go into the next double crochet. Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and we're going to skip a chain space and a double crochet and go into the next chain space. We're then going to skip all of these double crochets and the single crochet and work into the chain 3 with our shell stitch again. And you're going to repeat that all the way across. I'm just going to let this run for a little bit so you can get used to it. Of course, remember, if you want to slow it down, you can do, and the settings, and I will link everything below for you to let you know how to slow it down as well. I'll also have the written pattern, which you can get from my Etsy if you want to. So now we've repeated that all the way across, we're at the end again, and we've just done our 2 chain spaces, and we're going to work into that chain space below, just here, the chain 3. And we're going to work 4 double crochets into that last chain space. And for the next row, which will be our row 4 of our repeat, we're going to chain 4. And this counts as our first double crochet and a chain 1. We're then going to turn our work. And we'll be working our extended shell stitch again, so we're going to be putting a double crochet into the next stitch. Then chain 1, a double crochet into the next stitch, and chain 1, and then 1 double crochet into the next stitch. Then we're going to come across to our chain spaces, and we're going to put 1 single crochet into the first chain space, chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then we're going to come across to the next chain space and pop a single crochet in there too, if we don't get tangled. And then we're going to work our extended shell stitch again, so we're going to skip the single crochet, come across to the first double crochet of that shell, pop a double crochet in, and then chain 1. Then a double crochet into the next stitch, and chain 1, a double crochet into the next stitch, and chain 1, a double crochet into the next stitch, and chain 1, a double crochet into the next, chain 1, a double crochet into the next, chain 1, and then we've got 1 double crochet left to complete, and we just put 1 double crochet in there with no chain. We're then going to come across to the next chain spaces again, and we're going to put 1 single crochet into the first, chain 3, then 1 single crochet into the next, and repeat that all the way across until you get to the end, and I will meet you there. Okay, so now we're at the other end. We're going to complete our last extended shell, and we're going to skip the first single crochet, go into the next with a double crochet, then chain 1, 1 double crochet in the next, and chain 1, 1 double crochet into the next, and then chain 1, and we're going to put a double crochet into the top of the chain 3 from before as well. And that is the end of row 4. Then I'm going to chain 1 and fasten off and attach my next colour. So that is your repeat rows. So you've got row 1, row 2, row 3 and row 4, and the only difference really between them is the beginning of each row, and that's the reason why it's a 4-row repeat rather than a 2-row repeat. And I'm going to show you how I attach the next row as well, because of course we worked into single crochets with our first row. So I'm going to grab my next colour, which is this lovely dark green, and we're going to make a slip knot and attach that onto the end where we fastened off with a slip stitch. And then we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn our work. So the chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so we're going to pop a single crochet into the same space where we attached, just like so, and I'm working over those tail ends as well. We're then going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and we're going to skip the chain space and the double crochet, and we're going to go into the next space as we're skipping 2, and then we're going to go into our chain 3, so we're skipping the chain spaces and the double crochets and going into the chain 3 with a shell stitch, so that's 7 double crochets into that chain 3 space. And then like before, you're just going to work your way across into those extended shell stitches and work your way all the way across until you get to the other end, and that is your row complete. Okay, so now we're at the end of this row, and of course we're going to work into our extended shell. So we're going to skip 2, go in with a single crochet, then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and we're going to work into the top of the chain 3 there with a single crochet. just like so. And then you'll repeat row 2 again, and then change your colour, and then you'll repeat row 3 and 4, change your colour, and continue working that all the way up until you get to the amount of rows that you need to work. Of course, I'm changing colours every 2 rows. You don't have to. You can change any other amount of rows that you'd like, or you can stay with all just one colour. It is completely up to you. But as you continue working it up, you'll get something like this, and I think it's an absolutely stunning blanket to make. It's nice and airy, so it's perfect for little ones in the summer to keep the sun off them. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, guys. If you have, give it a big thumbs up for me. Make sure you drop a comment below for me and say hi, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.